Welcome back, Rivals. This is Xonia, and you are in the zone. Today, I want to do kind of a dual video. I want to do a little bit more announcements this week, and then I also want to go over another deck review. And this time, it's actually one of the deck reviews submitted by you guys. So if you are interested, I would like to review your own decks if you are interested in doing that. So if you want to leave me either in-game or down in the comment section below, just give me your deck. I will go ahead and try and review those, and I'd like to try and make this another bi-weekly thing because it's pretty easy for me to go ahead and run through it somewhat quickly. Anyway, not a whole lot of time again today, so let's get straight into it. We don't want to use too much time up. If you are curious, again, about the information that I am talking about here, just go here to Community and then hit the Forums button. It's going to drop you into the different threads that you can access, and if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, Staff's Announcements. And this is what we will be looking at today. So, we got a few announcements, and I want to cover them just quickly about things that are going on in the game that I really want to make sure you guys know about. First up is the one that we just had today, so actually I'm going to go back to the front page, which is the announcement of new packs. We now have the Rainbow Pack. That has been updated. It now has 1 rare card, 1 guaranteed RB, 7 characters, 45 credits, and they are from all clans, and of course, no doubles. They're also adding Toro and Erica RB both in, if you are lucky to get that. And in addition to this, they're removing the Phoenix ranking. And, you know, it's sad to see Phoenix go, only because I really like Phoenix as a title, but it is really hard to stay on top of all these RBs, so I understand that as well, and I think it's fine. I don't think we needed really another one just for RBs. Anyhow, so if you're interested in these new Rainbow Packs, feel free to pick one up. My opinion, it's really going to depend on whether or not you are able to draw a uncommon or a rare pricey RB card, because if you're able to get 7 cards, this is basically the same as Elite. Same number of cards, 5 additional credits, you're going to get the same number of guaranteed rare cards, but if your Rebirth card is a rare as well, it might actually be worth more. So it really depends on the Rebirth card you get. It's going to be hit or miss, and if I'm going to take that kind of chance, honestly, I would probably stick with Elite. But if you're looking to fill out those RB cards, which honestly right now I kind of am, I need a lot more of the rare ones, I might go ahead and buy a couple of these just to see how they turn out and see if I can get a hold of some of those rare RBs, because those are the ones that are really hard for me to get a hold of. The one downside to this as well, though, is that it's from every single card in play, so you can't even guarantee what your other cards are going to come from. So if you really ask me to pin it down, I would still say Elite packs are probably the safer bet. Unless you are an absolute beginner starter to the game, in which case then this might be worth more to you, at least at first. Up next, we have missions. The missions are going to be leaving in 1 month. I'm sure many of you have already heard this. The expiring missions removal has been postponed by 1 month, which was a really big win, I guess, for missions hunters or whatever. We're really happy that UR decided to do this. That was really, really nice of them. Again, in 1 month, all of your missions that are temporary will be disappearing. So what is a temporary mission? Many of you may be asking, but if I go to go to the old missions page. Basically, these are all of the missions. The temporary missions are all of the missions that you will find in the New Blood category, for example. They are all the ones you would find in the Flash category, for example. They are all the ones that you would find in the LD category, Legendaries, for example. So all of the old LD missions will be leaving. All of the old, like, character-specific, you know, when we had all of those missions to get the new LDs from the clans, those will be gone. All of the NB, the New Bloods, will be gone as well. And these missions, for New Bloods specifically, will be shorter, if you didn't already know that. Again, they will only be 4 days, and you must finish them within 4 days, not unlock the last one. They have now changed it from unlocking it and then allowing you to carry that on to a later date, to now you must finish within the time frame. So please do not forget this fact, or you will be very sad trying to think that you just need to unlock it. You need to finish all of them. So please be careful with that. Everything else, all of these fight solo experience, all of the clan-specific missions, all of these will stay. The tournament, Survivor, ELO, I believe all of these will be staying, but it's the New Blood, Flash, and Legendaries in specific that we will be losing after this. So if you have any leftover ones, please go ahead and finish them. If you bought them back, if you went to the missions expired tab and you bought back the missions, I was able to make a few points, I guess, and I was really happy to hear that they've decided maybe, and here it is buried down here at the end. Temporary missions you rebought to get, mostly for mission points. We're working about restoring credits used to rebuy old missions. We will keep you informed. So Chaos and the rest of the admins have talked about this. Thank you so much, Chaos. I really just want to say that again if you're watching this. If you rebought the missions for credits, you will probably be getting your credits back. But the temporary missions you unlocked but did not finish, for example, New Bloods, if you spent the money to unlock it early, you need to finish them, and 1 month should be ample time, they're saying, to finish most of these. And to be honest, I agree, unless you've been just letting them sit there forever, like me, and that's my own fault. I did not put the time in for it. Alright, also, if we go back again, LD missions are back. So again, you need to finish them all, specifically Liana LD's missions. They are back. If you go over here to your new missions page on the main website, you can now actually see these up here. These are the Lino Borsa ones, which will be gone by the time you see this video. And then down here we have the Aquinas Princess missions here as well. They are a little bit faster, a little bit easier, but you must finish them. It says unlockable until, what it means is finish by October 2nd. So you have to finish these by October 2nd, not unlock by October 2nd. Okay, so please be careful with that. We also have a great announcement. We have a new admin that has come to Urban Rivals now. It's getting involved in the game. Up here in the sticky threads, here comes a new challenger. The new admin is HD Bosskilla 7. So if you are interested in learning a little bit more about HD Bosskilla 7 from Heaven Destroyer Guild, please feel free. English is not his main language, but his English is fantastic, so please don't hesitate to talk to him if you're part of the English community. He's hoping to be able to start a whole bunch of stuff for us, so leave him a congrats on this staff announcement thread if you could. I'm sure it will help encourage him. And then we have a couple other quick announcements that I just want to mention, but I'm not going to go into. Again, we have the temp missions for Lino Borsa RB, which are worth it, so hopefully you've been working on those, and if not, then look for the next one that's going to come around soon. We've had a Coliseum just in the last week, which is also done now. We also have got new ELO token rewards, as you can see down here, new token rewards for ELO, and we've also got a new DT penalty list as well. So all of these things, new updates in the game that you should definitely take a look at if you haven't. Again, community, forum, and then scroll down to staff's announcements. Oh, before we move on, I just realized that they added something new over here. This is amazing. I just saw this. This is really, really cool. So they've updated your profile pages. As you can see here now, you can see how far you are along on the level, how many stars you have, your level. It shows that I'm an admin of my guild, which is great. So it says your position and then your guild name, the amount of battle points you have, fights, characters, percent of the collection, how many mission points. Wow, they did keep the old mission points, at least for now. I think they haven't removed them yet, so we'll see where that goes later. And down here, we've got the general ranking. So this is basically just how you're doing, kind of like points-wise and level-wise. Survivor ranking, what your best survivor is. ELO, what your best ELO record is. All of your events here, which is really cool. But the thing that's the coolest here right now, my collection. Oh my goodness, this is amazing. Oh, I love this. I love this. I love numbers. I love pictures. Oh, this is so fantastic. I love this. Okay, so here you can see how many of the new bloods that you have. Apparently I've got 78% of them. How many of the normal collection that you have? I've got 98%. How many of the collectors you have? I've got 70%. How many legendaries you have? I've got 30 out of 32. Oh, because I haven't done the ones in arcade yet. I need to catch up on those. And then the total number percentage that you have out of everything. This is really amazing. And then not only that, but it then tells you how many you have over here, how many of the collectors, and then your collection value. I have never seen this. This is like they've built it in from the old one. It does a market collection value. That is amazing. I really love this. This is really cool. I've been looking for something like this for a while. And then you can see the breakdown for every single one of these. And as you can see, if it's purple, apparently it's finished. So I have every single Berserk card. I have all of the leaders. I have all of Jungo. I have all of Rescue right now. And I'm only missing a few things. So for example, like I'm missing one of the normal cards for Vortex. I'm missing one of the CRs for Uppers. Yeah, I'm never going to get Armanda CR. Have fun with that one with me. I'm never going to get Chad Bread, but that's fine as well. I'm missing 2 of the normal cards. This is really cool. This is really cool. I love this UR. Super kudos for this. Go check out what you've got. Hopefully you're as excited about it as I am, and I hope you enjoy it. Now, back to where we were going beforehand. That's all for the announcements, so now I would like to get into a deck review. The deck review this week is going to be for Huracan, and so here I have a list of all of the Huracan cards that we can look at later. Here, the subscriber who has sent in their deck is Unis from The Power. He wanted me to take a look at his Huracan deck, which is apparently for tourney type 2. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. So I have not done any planning ahead of time, so I'm just going to try and do this off the top of my head. Again, I don't want this to go too long, but I do want to offer some helpful advice. So first, if this is tourney for type 2, then if you want to be getting a lot of points, this is a very star-heavy deck. So you're going to want to reduce some of these in order to get more points in tourney. Now, if this is just to go into tourney and have fun and beat people and, you know, get the 500 clan mission wins, this deck looks perfectly fine to me. So ultimately what we have here, we've got the defeat +3 from El Gascaro and El Jaguar with the -5 op damage min2. So he's got 2 lost cards, both of them add life back, that's fantastic. El Divino, a great opening card. El Matador and Devil Dog being, along with Pandagran and Noctizuma CR, obviously the only 4 cards here that really have conditionals. I don't count defeat as a conditional, really. So with only 4 conditionals, that's pretty good. It's not overly conditional. When I look at the damage looks pretty good, but as far as 2-hit KOs go, outside of tourney, it might be a little bit more difficult, but inside tourney, when there's only 12 life, it looks like there's really not much of an issue other than Kinichaw CR, who is obviously not going to be able to 2-hit KO without a Fury with anyone but Noctizuma CR, unfortunately. We do see, obviously, El Gascaro adds the life back, which adds to the damage. Courage +2 from El Matador is also really good. And then we have, I guess, when I look at the rest of these, obviously, Pandagran is a very double-edged card. Some people love him, some people hate him. Obviously, with the Revenge, you can get the +2 power, or you can get Devil Dog's Revenge with the 6. Having these 2 Revenge cards, I would be really shaky about, because, obviously, against SOA, you're going to have a little bit more trouble with this deck, it seems like, especially when Kinichar loses pretty much everything. Obviously, Noctizuma, a very strong card, and no DT penalties, so none of the cards have DT penalties. So overall, as far as is this deck strong, yes, it's great. It's fantastic. There isn't a whole lot else I would add. There isn't really any SOB that you can add other than copy op bonus, you know, faux SOB that you can put here into Huracan. So let's take a look at what some of the other cards are. When I look at this, obviously I think what I would say is probably Devil Dog and Pandagran are the 2 cards that I would definitely want to switch out, because I don't see them as being some of the strongest options in the clan, based on what the clan actually has right now. So let's take a look at the Huracan clan. So here we've got a couple more, Belly Buster, Cage Troy, both trash. Derby Queen. Derby Queen is actually an amazing card to put into a T2 deck because it's got the reprisal, so she can avoid a lot of the SOA or the DR unless she absolutely has to. With the 5 damage, it still ends up giving you a lot of 2-hit KO opportunities. Derby Queen and Miss Derby Queen, if you're going for actual points, I would start pulling out some of these and actually putting Derby Queen and Miss Derby Queen in. Also because they are 7 power, and what I see in this deck is a lot of 6 power cards, especially if you don't have your bonus. So if we're looking at 5 out of the 8 cards as 6 power cards base, that's going to be a little bit more difficult for Huracan. You really need to have a few more 7s, I would say. So I would consider putting Derby Queen in as a weaker star. Not a weaker card, but as one that will get you more points if you're able to KO with her. Going down as well, I think El Mariachi, again with his 5 damage, I would really recommend putting El Mariachi in there. Honestly, I would almost say El Mariachi is a perfect replacement for El Divino, because with his bonus, he's going to be able to get the extra minus damage from clans that are attack manipulation as well, and it's still going to give him essentially the same kind of thing, but not be forced to be played round 1, kind of like El Divino is in a lot of cases. And with only 3 stars, again, you're going to improve the amount of points you get when you win. Obviously, there are a few others. If you wanted to, I don't know if I mean, you're losing with El Gascaro anyway. You could try and stick in El Papagallo, but without the damage, honestly, I would probably recommend against that. So it's a nice thought, but I don't think it's quite going to work. Who else could we put in here? We have Magistrato LD, but with only 4, it doesn't matter. Mamakilla, honestly, I would rather have Mamakilla than Kinacha CR, because Mamakilla has that regen. Again, it's 1 less star. It's basically the same thing that you're going to be getting, other than a couple extra life to increase the amount of life you have left in order to do that. But the regen is also going to go ahead and do that for you. And so Mamakilla is just 1 less star that you could actually get a few more points off of if you used. To be honest, I would probably stick Raymano in for Pandagran, just because you're really weak to SOA with this deck, and you need something in there that can handle it. And since you're going to have 6 power anyway, why not Raymano? Raymano is just an absolutely fantastic card. Even Tengu and Wonderlana are both really good. Wonderlana maybe you want to stick with for the 5 damage. You really want to look for cards that are at least 5 damage in here. You probably only want 1 or 2 5 or 4 star cards, or maybe 3 if you include 4 star cards. Maybe like 1 5 and 2 4s, maybe. And the rest should be pretty low star cards. So for me, I would probably rather see a deck that looks something like this. And this is after a little bit of thinking, so here's my suggested changes here. Again, we have to remember, even though I said a lot of good things about some of these cards, this is tourney. So for example, even though it has the 2 DR, and that's usually good, in tourney, you really don't need DR. The goal is to play as fast as you possibly can, and DR is just going to slow you down unless it's like a DR meant to fake someone out. You also want as few stars as possible in order to make a lot more points out of it, and you want to be able to have at least kind of like just enough in order to get the KO. Obviously, you have to play it kind of fast and loose, so you just have to do the best that you can. Noctizuma CR, you can keep him as your 1 5-star. If you're only going to get 1, he's the best one for sure. Your 4-star, actually, I would make 1 more 5-star. I would probably change Kinacha CR to Lumberjack. Lumberjack is the only 8 power card. He's got 6 damage, which is over the 5 minimum that you want. He cannot be reduced, which means that he's going to help you against the All-Stars battles that you're definitely going to be facing. And overall is just kind of a huge pain for the All-Stars and a lot of the other power manipulation cards in that you may see packing by other people. Basically, it's just a big pain for all those other people who are packing the power manipulation, for example, like Spike. Then we've got El Matador as our 4-star. Obviously, he's got the 5 damage. That's going to be good, so you can keep him in there. Devil Dog, the SOA is good, but it's conditional, and he's only got 6 power, so he's going to get crushed. You're just as good to having Derby Queen, because Derby Queen also, against like SOA, is going to get crushed, but she does almost as much damage. She gets to the 5. That's all that really matters. El Gascaro, absolutely great. You could keep him in there if you wanted to, but we want to kind of free up more of those stars. I would actually change this to Miss Derby Queen, even though, again, she is not exactly the best. She's got that confidence. It just works. I mean, you're gonna want to win a couple of them in a row, and you can use her as a good bluff as well, and just play 3 or 4 pills on her and just see what happens. Then you've got Raymano instead of Pandagran. Like I said, I think he's a really good kind of replacement here if you just look at both of them. If he gets hit with SOA, he's actually better or equal to what Pandagran would have been in a revenge round. And so I think Raymano is just going to do you a lot better overall, and it's going to free up 2 more stars. Then we've got El Divino. I'm going to change him to El Mariachi because El Mariachi is going to be able to get just as much versus the people that he actually needs it against. And he's going to be a lot more versatile all around. Other than El Divino, he can be played in a lot more rounds. Again, and you free up 2 stars. El Jaguar, and great DR, but we don't really need the DR per se. You could leave him in there if you wanted to. An easy to hit KO potential. But you could also throw in Wonderlana, which is, again, going to be 2 less stars. And still has the -3 op life, min 0. So overall, what does it look like right now? If you look at the public preset, we've got 37 stars, and then 51 power and 50 damage. And out of all of these cards, you're only going to get +2 power, and that comes from Pandagran, basically. Nothing else is really guaranteed. There's nothing else that actually does damage. You could say, oh, but you get the +2 life. That's great, but it doesn't hit towards the KO, and you really need to KO in tournament. That's the thing that you want. And so you're really only going to get +2 power and no extra damage. So you're looking at basically 53 potential power and 50 damage. But if you look at this one, it's 27 stars. We've pulled out 10 stars. You're going to get way more points in DPs. You're going to be able to play just as fast. 55 power. We've actually got 2 more power. And that doesn't even count if Raymano gets hit with SOA. And then as far as damage goes, because of all of the extra damage cards, you're going to get +10. The base is only 34, which is, this is where the kind of trade-off goes. You lose lose that stability that you get from this kind of deck here when you play the other deck, but you need less stars, and so you have to trade that stability off. And we're still going to end up with plus 10, because Wonderlana's going to get 3 extra, Miss Derby Queen's going to get 4, and Derby Queen's going to get 3 more as well. And so that's plus 10, again, not counting Raymano if he actually does hit, or if Noctizuma, he does go against a damage clan. So overall, you're going to still have 44 damage. So for 6 less damage, essentially, we're going to get 2 extra power and 10 less stars. That is an excellent trade-off, guys. That is absolutely the kind of thing we want to be looking for in these kinds of decks. You've got to reduce the stars, but without losing as much as possible. And if I told you that you could save 10 stars, gain 2 power, and only lose 6 damage, you should jump all over that. So this is what my recommended changes would be if you want a competitive tourney type 2 deck with Huracan. If you're just looking to have fun with Huracan in T2 again, though, this deck is great because it's got everything you need in order to win the matches, win the rounds. To me, this looks like less like a tourney type 2 and more like a survivor type 2 deck, to be honest. But overall, as you can see here, Eunice said that he got 196 battle points. If you change to this, I guarantee you that you will not hit 196. Instead, you'll start hitting over 300 at the very least once you learn how to play with this deck instead. You're going to be able to add 100 points, and I think that that's going to do a lot of good towards getting you into a super competitive deck. So this is my quick kind of recommended change for this. Again, when you get into these kinds of decks, you do get kind of stuck because in a clan like Huracan, they just don't have a whole lot of cards, and you just got to do the best with what you've got. So overall, I hope this was helpful or beneficial to look at. I'm not going to show you how to play with this deck. You can go ahead and try it out for yourself and see how it works. But overall, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked this video, then please go ahead and hit that like button. If you really liked it, then don't forget to share it with your friends. And as always, don't forget to subscribe for more of my Urban Rivals videos. This is Xonia, and you've been in the zone.